everyone, I'm Michelle, and thanks for joining me on Out of the Heart podcast today. I hope that you had a great Christmas and an even better New Year. You know, there's nothing worse than doing life on your own. There's nothing strong about trying to do life on your own. We're better together, and we're better when we're in community. So I just want to let you know today that I'm your friend, I've got your back, and I care about you. If there's ever anything that I can do for you, I hope that you know that you can hit me up on my email, outoftheheartpod@gmail.com. For the next 30 minutes, I hope that you can take the time to just sit back and relax. Maybe take a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, whatever you prefer. And let's talk about some stuff that's pretty important. God bless you. So I don't know if you have seen, but there are a lot of people on social media like giving out their word for the year. And I noticed that a lot of people they have words like, this is the year of breakthrough. This is the year of victory. This is the year of presence. I want more of the presence of God. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I've never had a word for a year, but this year I decided, you know what? I'm going to have a word. I'm going to have a word that keeps me in check and keeps me in focus. At the beginning of this year, I got a little book and I wrote down some goals. I wrote down goals for finances, for how I want to grow emotionally, how I want to grow spiritually, how I want to be healthy physically. I wrote down all these goals. And when I wrote down all these goals, I had this in the back of my mind. I was like, these are things that I want to achieve, but they are also things that I want to become. And so in trying to find out what my word is this year, I was thinking, I need to not focus on doing all the stuff, not doing everything that I feel like everyone thinks that I need to do. I really feel like I need to focus on who I'm becoming. And when I focus on who I'm becoming, I found it quite easy to come up with my word. And it wasn't like this big God holy moment. I actually just thought, you know what, this year I want to have rhythm. I want to have rhythm in my life. You know, I think so often we can talk about balance. Many times we ask people, well, how do you balance having a family and doing ministry? How do you balance wearing so many different hats? And I'm starting to learn that it's not so much about balance, it's more about priorities. And if we figure out what our priorities are, then it kind of helps sets the tone for how we live our life. And so my word for this year, are you ready? It's big and it's huge and it's incredible. My word for this year is rhythm. So simple, right? Rhythm. Because I've seen it so often, and I am a culprit too, but so often I realized last year that whenever I ask somebody, hey, how are you? 9 times out of 10, I was met with the response, oh, you know, there's so much going on. Oh, I'm so busy, you know. Oh, there's so much to do and so little time to do it in. Every time I was talking with someone, it always came back to being caught in busyness. And I just and I caught myself saying it too. Someone would be like, oh, how's it going, Michelle? How are you? And I'd be like, oh, you know, I just have so much going on right now. And it kind of became an identity. And I just kind of felt like, man, I don't want that to be my identity this year. You know, I had 2 weeks last year that I was out almost every single night. I was only home 2 nights out of 2 weeks to kiss my kids and put them into bed. And when I realized that, I almost had a breakdown. I was like, everything else has come first, and my children and my husband have come second third, fourth, fifth down the line. And I decided I can't have that again. That it did something to my insides. I realized my priorities aren't in the right place. And you know, the Bible talks about ownership and stewarding well what's been given to you. And so as I got towards the end of last year, I decided I need to figure out what's important to my life. What has God given me, and what is God calling me to lay down? What are the priorities? What is our goal, and what is the things that we need to get rid of and take away so that we can make room to do these other things well and to do them to the best that we can. And I've noticed that in kind of readjusting my priorities to try and find the right rhythm, this rhythm that God wants us to beat with, this pulse that He wants me to run with in our family and our ministry. I've also noticed that I'm having to not just cut things out, not just cut activities out, but I'm actually also having to evaluate the people in my life. Because here's the hard, cold truth, that some people know you so well that if you decide to move forward and to move on and take authority over some of your gifts and take authority over who you are and who God has called you to be, they know you too well that they will try to keep you at the level that you're at, that it will be so difficult for you to be able to move forward and to move ahead. And so I just noticed in some conversations, I'm like, I need to minimize my time with this person, and I need to maybe stop hanging out completely with that person because I'm not going to be able to move forward. And that can sound really harsh, but I think sometimes we need to make those adjustments because God is always calling us forward. We come to Him as we are, but He doesn't let us stay the way that we are. And so my word this year is rhythm. And I think about rhythm and I think about God, what is there a perfect rhythm? Is there a rhythm that everybody is supposed to go? And I've learned that the rhythm that my life goes and flows is not the same rhythm that another person's life goes and flows. And I've really challenged myself this year, and I've really decided for myself and for my family that this year I'm not going to let another person dictate the flow and the rhythm to which I go. I'm not going to let somebody else or a group of people or whoever or an activity, I'm not going to be bound and defined by other people. I'm going to take authority over who I am and who I've been called to be. And I would actually ask you today and throw out a challenge to you today. And I would ask you, what is your focus this year? Do you have a word for this year? What is the thing that you are heading toward this year? Are you making it about all the things you want to do, or are you making it about who you want to become? Because at the end of the day, we're actually a human being and we're not a human doing. We always hear that, I know. But the truth is, the more we know who we are and the more we take responsibility for who we are, the more we take authority and ownership over our identity, the more we understand who we are and how we think, that will have a lot of effect on the how we do. It will have a lot of effect and a lot of impact on the things that we choose to put our focus on. And here's the thing. I have noticed that we can get so busy that we're actually not productive or fruitful at all. And I never want to be caught being a person that is so stuck doing all the stuff that I have no fruit to show for it. So, my challenge to you is, what is your focus this year? And what is it that God is calling you to this year? What are the things and the areas in your life that He's calling you to take authority over? Because nobody else can take authority over you. They may try, and they might try to make you what you need to be, out of good heart and good intentions too. But who is God calling you to be? I decided that I wanted to be quite specific with the rhythm and the flow that I wanted my life to go this year. And I wanted to be specific about that because I wanted to be careful, and I want to be careful about the things that I start. I don't know about you, but I am really good at starting things and not finishing them and not seeing them through. But I've noticed that I serve a God who actually finishes stuff. I serve a God who sent his son Jesus to die on a cross, and Jesus said, "It is finished." So he's a finisher. And so I want to go to his standard, and I said I want to finish stuff this year. So this year I've decided I'm going to be careful what I say yes to and what I say no to. And the reason for that is I believe that there is no greater weapon that the enemy would want to wield on me or you than the weapon of distraction. I believe that we live in a generation that is very good at not finishing things. And we have so many things that are not finished that it's affecting an entire generation and its ability to see things through to the end. It's affecting a generation to actually be able to walk out their faith even in hard times. I wanted to be very specific about what I wanted to accomplish this year, about who I'm becoming, because I know that God is continually doing a work in me, and there are going to be hard times, and there are going to be hard things to do, and there's going to be a lot of pressure, but I want to be able to have a faith that is persevering and enduring. So this year, I don't have any new resolutions. I don't have any new goals, so to speak. I know the things that I want to do, but this year it's about focusing on who I'm becoming. And in order to do that, I need to go with the flow. I need to go with the flow that I am called to go. I need to go with the flow and the rhythm that the Holy Spirit has called me to go. And so in doing that, I'm praying that I'm able to actually finish some of the stuff that I actually start. I believe rhythm is important. I believe that it's important to know the pulse and the beat to which you should go. Some people can go faster than others. Others need to go a little bit slower. We're all different, and the thing is that we're not to compare ourselves with another person. We were never called to compare our walk or our journey or our career or our profession or our ministry. We were never called to compare it with someone else. We are actually called to raise our life to a standard of comparing to Jesus, because the goal is always Jesus. We want to become more like him and reflect him to the world. So I don't know what your New Year's resolution is or what your word is or whatever, but that's mine, and I wanted to share it with you. And I hope that in some way it was helpful. Maybe just a little tip, maybe something that was there that was able to inspire you. But I just want to say, don't get so caught up on doing so much stuff that you lose the momentum of what's going on in the moment. Don't lose what's going on with your friends. Don't lose what's going on with your family. Don't lose what's going on in the here and the now. Make sure that the rhythm of your life is in flow so that you can appreciate those around you, so that you can take care and steward well that thing that God has put in your hand. Thanks for listening. I will see you next week, and I hope that you have a fantastic week.